Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Well, Nick Collier here, and we've got another little project, a little project. At least that's what I thought yesterday afternoon when I kind of began to set it up, and I realized, well, you know how those things are. You go, oh yeah, that'll just take 15 minutes or so. We'll get the tools put together, and wham, it's a done deal. Well, I built this this die grinder. Well, I actually bought the die grinder, and then I built the bracket to go on my lathe. Oh, I don't know, might have been 8 or 10 years ago, and I've used it a couple of times, and it has worked just fine. But now, and we're going to bring you in a little closer so you can kind of see what's going on. So we've got this little hub that goes on the Bridgeport that I'm rebuilding here, and the further I get into that project, the more I'm wondering why I'm doing it. But, you know, we're far enough in that, you know, there's no turning around now. So, so this little hub is for the quill arm that indexes the quill down, and I decided, okay, so I bought the hub on eBay, and it came out, and it's about 5 thousandths too small. Now, I guess I could heat it up and slip it on, but then if I ever had to take it back off again, it would be a bit of a pain. So I thought, well, let's just take 5 thousandths off, get out my die grinder that I built, you know, all that time ago, and have used half a dozen times over the years, and but always with bigger diameter holes or bores. And so this time we pulled it in, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but as I remember now that once I built this, that I had built the frame for it, and I got everything all set up, and I spent, oh man, I've spent a lot of time building this. And then once I put it on there, I realized, oh my God, it's almost a 1/4 inch too high. Now that's okay with a big diameter, because you know, you just kind of fake it a little bit, and that's what's happened. But here we are at a smaller diameter. So it's time to adapt this thing once again and reset it so that it's actually dead center. And then whenever I get ready to use it again, boom, I can just pick it up and use it. So what I've come up with, and there's no way, yeah, you can't see it. The die grinder is sitting right on the top of this little 1/4 inch table. The gripper is holding the die grinder in place, and there is a T-nut that goes through there. So the die grinder can't go down any further on top of my lathe. So what I think I have to do is I need to bring the die grinder over the top of the edge of the lathe here, like that, and drop it down whatever, you know, however far it needs to go down. Now what I'd like to do at the same time, and I'm not even sure if I can do it or not, is I'd like to be able to rotate this die grinder around this direction in order to get to be able to use my compound, because as it sits now, it sits in place just fine, but I can't set up the compound to use because of course it'll push the die grinder off. So we're going to play with that. Now I've cut a piece of steel, and I cut that yesterday, that will fit. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to pull the die grinder off, and we're going to put the piece of steel on, and I want it to sit something about like right there. In fact, I think I marked this side of it. Yeah, I did. So the plan is to cut this entire section out, and then I'll have it. But then overnight I thought, well, wait a second, I want to be able to rotate this thing. So I'm going to have to figure out another approach to get this thing to rotate. the way I want it to. All right, well, so I don't exactly know where I'm going here, but I do know that this T-nut's got to go in there, and we got to get something on top of here. So for the moment, we're going to just work with wood, because it's much more pliable and much more flexible, and you know, you can use it. So we'll do that, and we're going to put that T-nut so that it squares up with this back edge, and that way we know where we're going to index from. And I'm thinking if I come in with just a pin underneath here and rotate this, I might be able to get a nice arch. Let's give that a look and see. Okay, there's our basic arch, and we could probably give ourselves a little bit more room and kind of come around like about that. So that's what we want to go to, and then we'll lock this thing back down, and that's going to give us plenty of room on this edge and plenty of room to rotate with. Now what we have to do, oh actually, you know what, let's put this way, because we need to have our platform out here, something like this. So that means let's give it just a little bit more room. Right. And our platform is somewhere in this general area of 4 inches. And so we need to come out 4 inches there. Something like that. And something more like that. So our total length is going to be over 6 inches. Let me get a scale here, or a tape. Our total length is going to be, well, I'd say 10 inches. And I think this piece of steel is not going to be big enough. We've got 7 inches on that. So we're going to put that back away. Alright, so we want to set center on the rotary table, and you know, of course, if you're doing something super accurate and you want to be right on the dead nuts, then you come in with a coax indicator, which is still not dead nuts, or you come in with a dial indicator and you indicate that bottom. This particular situation is not real, doesn't really matter that much. I mean, if I'm a 16th one way or the other, hey, we're fine. So what I'm going to do is, rather than go through all those calculations, we're just going to match up my tap follower with this little point that I made some years back. That will give us just about exactly what we want. And I'm looking at that. Let me get my cheater glasses out here. Maybe a little bit this way. A little too far. That's it. That's it. That's it. So we're reasonably centered. We pop our little cone out. Take the follower out. Oh yeah, let's get back to 0. Okay, so now we want to find reasonable center here on our piece of steel, and we're going to get the super accurate piece of wood. Ha! Okay, and that looks pretty good, and we'll just mark that. We're going to mark it here, and then we'll find center with the calipers. And I'm guessing somewhere in there. That looks pretty close. Let's try that. Yeah, I would say right there. Couple of T-nuts, a bolt. Are we going to make it? Yeah, we'll make it. We want to come in with a stand. That might be, that looks pretty good. Okay. Grab our tap follower again, drop that down, and we're going to move our piece of steel in so that it is right where we want it. Tighten that up just a little bit. So, we want to drill a hole first. And, oh, let's tighten this up a bit more. Make sure we're on the money. Loosen things up. It looks to me like it's spinning just fine. Get rid of the collet. We're going to find a drill bit that's this size. And now we can punch straight through there because there's a hole right in the center of that. And okay, I'll just spin that. Go the other direction. Let's put a chuck in there. Little center drill action. We don't need much. Just enough to get that pilot drill to kick in. All right, let's pull our drill bit out. Well, that's interesting. Huh. Okay. And put our bolt in. Fits nice and snug. Just what we want. All right, so now we want to figure out from center to this outside edge. And once again, it's not a tight tolerance deal. It's more like just we make sure we have enough room. And that looks like it. So 290 and change. And I'm going to go to there. Yep, that's going to do just fine. We're going to mark it. And that should give us what we want. Okay, let's put a roughing bit in there. We'll go ahead and wang it with a center punch. That's good. Now, we want to bring the table up. enough. Lock our gib. All right, adjust the camera. Looks good. So we're going to take this outside measurement first. And so we want to kind of bring our line over to here and bring our bit to the edge of that. So that's about right. Okay, now rotate around. All right, so we've got our plate. We need that bolt. We've got the bolt. Drop it in. Oops, we need to go the other way. We're going to drop that in here, snug it down. We'll put a washer on it later. There it goes. So we have full rotation, which is what we wanted. Okay, so now we're snugged down, we need to come in with our plate. Let's see here. Our die grinder. And we're going to drop it right here. Right? Now, of course, that's going to be way too high. So we need to drop that down. What's it look like? It looks like a fair amount. All right, well, that's good. Let's see what we've got distance-wise. Let's back this thing up a bit. Can you see it? Let me back you up. How's that? Better, huh? Okay, so now we're out here. We want this to rotate around. And of course it's going to hit the, you know, it always hits something. But I think we're going to be okay. Oh, yeah, we can come back further. No? This can go that way further. Is that what it's going to hit? Yep, that's what's going to hit. So let's plug that in. Send it back. Okay, that's as far back as it goes. And we still have, oh, I don't know, 1.5 inches back here that we can cut off. It's still hitting, but I think we're good. We can back this up a little bit. There we go. Look at that. Man, oh man, we made it. Okay, so now, because we want to get in, we'll cut this square, and then we can loosen this up, and this can rotate around to where we want it to go, and we still have our angle for our compound. So let's tighten this up, and let's tighten our compound up. And let's also see where we're going to land as far as that's concerned. We want to go out just a little bit more. And I'm going to go to a full 45 because that's going to put the point of this compound out to the extreme of where it wants to be, or where I can go with it. So let's go to 45, and then let's swing this around to 90. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I would say let's take another 1/2 inch or so. All right, that gives us about 3/4 of an inch between here and the compound itself. So that gives us plenty of room to kind of make sure that we're going to be out where we want to be. Now what we want to do is, and I think I'm going to clamp that. Let me go get a C-clamp. We're not going to clamp it hard, just kind of barely snug it down, just so to make sure that it is in fact where we want it to be. We're going to take this in and that way. Now, actually, I think we should put a pointer in there. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. All right. All right, so we're going to change our bit and put in some kind of little pointer. I hope it's the right size. I think it is. Look at that. Oh, man. All right, that gives us exact center of the die grinder. And now, how much are we going to have to cut down in order to get that to center? It looks like a shitload. But let's give it a try and see. Now this is going to be a little more accurate. It's going to have to be a little more accurate. Let's go ahead and so we're at 625. So 312 is our halfway point. And then, my God, it's just about perfect. Hell no, it isn't. We're about 20 thousandths different. So 5 looks like 75 and 312, right? Okay, hang on. Let's just get the calculator out because this is where I screw up. 575, 575, oops, 575 plus 312 equals 887. 875, 87. And that just about takes the whole piece of steel. So, how can we answer that problem? I'm not sure. We could, we're going to cut it, we could cut it in half. Cut it in half here, drop it down, weld it back together, and then surface that top surface. That might be the way to do it. $887 is a lot. And of course I didn't mark where we're supposed to land here, so we're going to have to reset that. Somewhere right around there. Then we'll be back. All right, so I took the piece of steel. Well, I actually took another one because I cut it too small, but you know, we're not talking about that. And I notched it, and I didn't film the notch because I figured at this point, even though it's fast forward, you're tired of seeing that mill just go back and forth across the steel. So we just didn't film the notching of that. And now I've clipped it to the rotating piece, and it looks like it's sitting pretty well. And we need to take about, oh, I don't know, a couple hundred thousandths off of that, and we'll end up with enough thickness down here to give us some support, so this thing kind of can sit fairly evenly. So at this point, I think what we need to do is take it over and throw a weld bead here and on the bottom half of this. And with that, let's take this thing off and see what we got. Now there's a lot of extra room here because I ended up cutting another piece. But once I get everything welded and done and milled and everything set up, then I'll cut off whatever it remains, like I should have done in the first place. Okay, we're not quite square, but I want to see how we're doing. I want to find some kind of square edge. Okay, so we're going to weld this joint here and a little bit of the back side just to get ourselves to drop down there a little bit. And I think we can just come in with the MIG and weld that, and we'll be totally safe. Maybe turn up the temperature a bit, but I think it's a good idea to kind of preheat this and get it up to at least spit temperature. So we're going to bring it up to spit temperature. Pretty good. I think I can live with that. So, crank up the temperature a bit. We're grounded. We need our helmet. Turn on some gas. Let me get a glove on. Okay, we got a nice solid bead there. Let's move on the back side. We're just going to come in and do these two little short ones here so we don't get in the way of our arch. I'm thinking that is plenty. Good penetration all the way in. Yeah, I think we're going to be just fine there. So now we're going to let it cool, and we'll come back and surface this down to the level we need it to be, which is about another 200 thousandths or so.